putting that aside, we have our last question from the ever-present Michael R. of Easton, Pennsylvania. Happy New Year. Do you have any New Year's resolutions for 2022? And no. Did you ever make any resolutions in the past? No. This is the easiest Michael R. question I've ever had to deal with. New Year's resolutions, I never got that. I understand how that works for some people, because it's like, here's the specific day that this thing is going to happen. I resolve to lose weight. I resolve to stop cheating on my wife, or whatever it is that you resolve that starting January 1st, you're never, ever going to do that again. I was always one of those people that went, well, if you're going to do it today. What is this idea of sitting there in October going, come January 1st, I'm never going to do this again. If it's a good idea January 1st, it's a good idea in October.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
It's a good idea just before Christmas. It's a good idea on Christmas. It's a good idea between Christmas and New Year's. It seems to me people setting themselves up for failure to do that, because then you're, how many New Year's resolutions do people actually stick with? You build it up in your head as to how momentous a change this is going to be, and then when it actually starts to take place, and you go, oh, this is a much harder thing than I thought it was going to be. Oh yeah, 3 or 4 days later, there goes your New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
So anything that I did quit, smoking cigarettes, it was just, okay, this is the last cigarette that I'm smoking, and that is just off the table. That's not being negotiated anymore. 1998, that's it for relationships. I did the best I could, I think, but this is just completely dishonest. Poor Dave Sim.
Yes.
It's like, if you're not looking for a wife, don't have a girlfriend, because you're just going to aggravate yourself, and you're just going to cause problems for her. So that's why I say I should have said in 1983, that's it. I'm not a husband. I know that definitively now, and I just have to stay away from that. It's like I like women. I enjoy talking to women, but in terms of having somebody there all the time that is, my personal responsibility as half of a relationship. No, I knew in 1983 that wasn't the case. So it's okay. Be reasonable with yourself. Know who you are, and make your decisions based on that. In terms of, I'm going to try fasting in Ramadan, which I did in 1999, and I went, this is really good. I'm a much better Dave Sim 30 days later than I was 30 days ago, and that's just unmistakable. So that was another one of those that I never revisited, but I never said, starting in 1999, I'm going to fast in Ramadan every year. It's, but now it's in that category. It's, and it was, right from the beginning. Some things are easier than others.
Yep.
You sound like you're speaking from experience on that.
Yeah, I mean, I since I've become a more observant Christian, there are some habits I'd be able to give up, like drinking, for example. I do it. If I do it maybe once a week. And that's just for my job, because the nature of what I do for my job sometimes has to have me drink and consume bourbon. It's a long story, but otherwise I don't touch the stuff. But there are other habits that are harder than others. But I'm working on it. And I'm trying my best to like make clear boundaries for myself. Like, don't do this. Don't do it, because if you do it, you know what's going to happen. It's happened 1,000 times before, so stop. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like I always find it funny, the religious people who are always asking God's forgiveness, and it's like, don't ask my forgiveness. Improve.
Yeah.
How many times do you want me to forgive you for the same thing? Your heart isn't even in it when you're asking for forgiveness anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there are old school Judeo. There are old school observers of Judeo-Christian tradition who are like old school, like, you have to improve. Forgiveness is, once in a while, okay, but you have to you have to be worthy, or no, I guess that's not the right wording, but just, you have to do better. I mean, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm always suspicious of the Christians who say it's not by works, it's by grace,
mm-hmm.
which is, well, that kind of gets you out of work, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't have to work at anything because everything is God's grace. It's like, I understand the argument, but I don't understand it in those terms. I take it as, the original undeserved kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that we get from God, we don't deserve, because all falls short of the glory of God.
Yeah.
But you gotta work at it. It's like everybody can always be improving at any time, and I think there's probably nothing better for God than the guy who finally gives up whatever it is and makes it stick.
Yeah.
Because, for God, the fourth dimension, time, is, a single unit. So he knows, okay, this guy apologizes here, apologizes here. But finally, after apologizing for 15 years, he finally just goes, look, this is gone. This is out of my life. So,
mm-hmm.
And speaking of out of my life, that's the 2-hour mark.
Yeah.
Please hold for Dave Sim.
Yep.
So, good substitute there, Brian West. How to do?
It felt good. I thought sometimes I was rambling too much, and I had a couple of my patented pointless digressions, but otherwise it was okay. It wasn't as stressful as I thought it would be. So yeah, thank you for the compliment, by the way.
No problem. You are Matt Dow's chosen successor.
Yeah, that I still am trying to wrap my head around, but I'm very grateful that he has tapped me to do, God willing, that something I will do down the road, not immediately. Come back, Matt. Come back.
Here you go. Okay, you have a good night, Brian.
You too. Happy New Year, Dave.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.